cancel culture?
Cancel culture.
Cancel culture.
Cancel culture.
Cancel culture. Cancel culture is a very common phrase in our society today. But what does it mean? According to Google, cancel culture is the phenomenon or practice of publicly rejecting, boycotting, or ending support for particular people or groups because of their socially or morally unacceptable views or actions. Since time immemorial, different societies have adopted different forms of public punishment and social ostracism to maintain order and enforce morality. Pillories and stocks were heavily used in the medieval times to publicly shame wrongdoers. Banishment was also common in many early civilizations. Depending on the crime, people were either exiled for a specific period or permanently. Banishment was adopted in various early civilizations such as ancient Rome, ancient Greece, Mesopotamia, and ancient China. Boycotts are also not new to society, with the most famous boycott being the Montgomery bus boycott. It happened between December 1955 to December 1956. The boycott was sparked by the arrest of Rosa Parks, and it culminated with the Supreme Court ruling that segregation on the buses is unconstitutional. With the advent of social media and the internet, new platforms were developed for people to express their opinions. Call-out culture was born. The errant behaviours of celebrities and public figures were overtly highlighted. Over time, this morphed into a more extreme form where the individuals were not only being called out for their transgressions, but were expelled from communities and their products and services boycotted. This marked the birth of cancel culture. The increased activism and awareness on social justice issues also contributed to the growth of cancel culture. Cancel culture usually targets celebrities and public figures. Some of the most high-profile cancellations include Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein, R. Kelly, J.K. Rowling, Ellen and Kevin Spacey. Holding individuals accountable. Many people view cancel culture as a mechanism for holding individuals accountable for their actions, especially when traditional systems fail to do so. High-profile figures and institutions are often insulated from consequences due to their power and influence. People view cancel culture as a way to bypass these protections and ensure that no one is above scrutiny. It was well known in Hollywood that Harvey Weinstein was a sexual predator. He had been involved in sexual misconduct for 3 decades before he was cancelled. If it was not for cancel culture, maybe he would still be in a position of power and harm other people. Amplifying marginalized voices. Cancel culture is seen as a tool that can amplify the voices of marginalized groups who historically have been silenced or ignored. People in these groups may not have access to lawyers or powerful people who can help them. They can, however, be able to air their views on social media platforms. By leveraging social media, these groups can bring attention to injustices and discriminatory behaviour, fostering a more inclusive and equitable society. Virtue signalling. Some people publicly criticize others to show that they are morally superior and to gain social approval. Conformity. Some people engage in cancelling others just to align with the masses. They hope to avoid being cancelled themselves by following trends. In 1951, Solomon Asch, a renowned American psychologist, devised an experiment to investigate conformity. Students at Swarthmore College were the subject of this experiment. They would be presented with 2 cards. One card had 1 line drawn on it, and the second card had 3 lines of varying lengths drawn on it. One of the lines in the second card was identical to the line in the first card. The students were asked to pick the line in the second card that matched the line in the first card. They participated in the exercise in groups of 8. However, there was a twist. Of the 8 students, only 1 was the subject of the study. The others were actors who had been instructed to select the wrong answers. Asch wanted to study the behaviour of the remaining student. In the control group, with no actors, the error rate was less than 0.7%, indicating that the answer was fairly obvious. In the presence of actors, 36% of the respondents conformed. 74% of the participants gave at least 1 incorrect answer. This clearly demonstrates a tendency for people to conform to the mob even when they know the mob is wrong. Regarding the study results, Asch stated, That intelligent, well-meaning young people are willing to call white black is a matter of concern. Promoting social change. Cancel culture is also seen as a force for social change. By spotlighting issues such as racism, sexism, homophobia, and other forms of discrimination, it can drive public discourse and lead to broader societal shifts. Providing a form of justice. For victims of abuse, discrimination, or other injustices, cancel culture is seen to provide a form of justice when legal or institutional avenues are inadequate. Public condemnation and social consequences can offer a sense of closure and validation to those who have been wronged. In May 2024, a video of Diddy assaulting Cassie leaked online. The assault happened in 2016 in Century City Hotel in Los Angeles. Diddy was attacked online for his actions. In this case, the public criticism of Diddy could offer some form of justice and validation for Cassie. While cancel culture is often seen as a tool for social justice, holding individuals accountable for their actions or statements, it also has several demerits. Here are some of the primary disadvantages of cancel culture. Lack of due process. People can be cancelled based on allegations or statements taken out of context, without a fair investigation or opportunity for defense. This can lead to unjust consequences and the punishment of potentially innocent individuals. Disproportionate punishments. Cancel culture can result in punishments that far exceed the severity of the offense. Minor infractions or mistakes from the past can lead to significant personal and professional repercussions, which may not be proportionate to the original behavior or statement. Though the court system is not perfect, it aims at giving proportionate sentences for crimes done. Stifling of free speech and creativity. The fear of being cancelled can create a chilling effect on free speech and creativity. Individuals, especially public figures and creators, might avoid discussing controversial topics or expressing unconventional opinions out of fear of backlash. This can stifle important conversations and limit the diversity of perspectives in public discourse. According to a research by the Foundation of Individual Rights and Expression, 91% of university and college faculty in the United States are likely to self-censor in meetings, on social media, and in presentations to prevent backlash. Psychological impact on individuals. Being cancelled can have severe psychological effects on the targeted individuals. Public shaming, harassment, and social ostracization can lead to anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues. The intense scrutiny and negative attention can be overwhelming and damaging. Caroline Flack, the former host of Love Island, was cancelled for assaulting her boyfriend. She was subjected to intense criticism and ridicule on social media. This situation led her to losing her job on Love Island. This was overwhelming for her, and she ultimately ended her own life on February of 2020. Negative impact on forgiveness and growth. Cancel culture often leaves little room for forgiveness or personal growth. People who have made mistakes and are genuinely remorseful may find it difficult to rebuild their lives and careers. This lack of a path to redemption can be counterproductive to the goals of social justice and rehabilitation. In December 2018, Kevin Hart was announced as the host of the 2019 Oscars. Shortly after, old tweets of homophobic jokes from 2009 resurfaced online. People demanded that he should not host the Oscars because of these tweets that were almost a decade old. Kevin Hart was then forced to step down from hosting the Oscars. The issue has come up many times, and Kevin has consistently apologized for his actions. Here is Kevin talking about the situation.
Nobody is saying, guys, this is 10 years. No headlines are saying 10 years ago he apologized. Nobody's finding the apologies. Nobody's finding the footage from where I had to address it. I had to address it when I did Get Hard promo with Will Ferrell because of my joke that I had about my son. I had to address those tweets in 2012 in a very, very heavy junket where I was asked questions about homophobia based on those tweets. And I had to address it and apologize and say I understand what those words do and how they hurt.
Kevin Hart is clearly remorseful for his actions. He has apologized repeatedly, but still he is attacked for his comments. Why cancel culture does not work. Cancel culture is built upon the belief that vices such as racism, sexism, and violence are caused by racist, sexist, and violent people. The cure to these vices is therefore to remove these people from society. The problem is, however, deeper and more sophisticated than that. Individual instances of racism and sexism are symptoms of how these vices have permeated the society. To achieve true change in the society, the focus should be more on dismantling the systemic patterns of harm rather than directing all the focus to perpetrators. This, however, should not absolve individuals from being accountable for their actions. Constructive dialogue. We should encourage open and respectful dialogue rather than practicing immediate ostracism. This approach can lead to better understanding of issues and more sustainable changes in attitudes and behaviours. Education and awareness. We should focus on educating individuals and communities about the impact of their words and actions. This method emphasises learning and growth over punishment. Restorative practices. We should implement restorative justice principles that focus on repairing harm and rebuilding relationships rather than punishing wrongdoers. Restorative justice is victim-centered. Cancel culture focuses on making the perpetrator suffer. The victim's needs are not considered. Restorative justice focuses on doing right by the victims and facilitating their recovery from the harm done. The perpetrator is forced to face the victim and atone for the harm done. This way, both the victim and the offender can be reintegrated back to society once they reach an agreement. Compassionate accountability. We should hold individuals accountable in a way that acknowledges their humanity and potential for change. This involves a balance of understanding the impact of one's actions and the capacity to reform. Adopt presumption of innocence. Any person accused of a crime is innocent until proven guilty. Adopting presumption of innocence reduces the possibility of criticizing and punishing innocent people.